Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drive the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drive the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Yeah, I need it now, told him on the lay. I've been moving, dog, yeah, I'm on the way. I don't hear the talk, don't care what they say. I don't got no patience, I can't ever wait. I've been trying to get it, running up all these digits. And I've been in the gym, I've been up doing minutes. I just put in that work, told them it's strictly business. And I see through the face, they all just burning bridges. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drive the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drive the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Yeah, they don't want it, dog, like I want it, dog. Yeah, they say they want it, then they took the summer off. I've been going down the list, checking numbers off. I was checking on your numbers, told them something's off. I was at the bottom, now you know I'm climbing. Now they sending deals, they know I ain't signing. They been trying to sell it, they know I ain't buying. When they send a text, dog, I ain't replying. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drive the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant, need a triple-double. Told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple. I don't drive the ball, now I never fumble. I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell.
I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call it quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve, stress, shield my greed. That's how I get it, success ain't no giving. Some days I don't hit, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous, they don't want it when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank, I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze, the roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag, I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag, I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. Plus a family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket, Houston, we got a problem. I ain't perfect, let them watch me elevating. Got them nauseous, cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the house and woo. Watch how I get ahead, watch how I get ahead, watch how I get ahead. Woo. Watch how I set it up, bet you I shut it down, watch how I get a win. I don't think they really wanna come against the winner, got a finger run up in on a grenade. I ain't never been there when you think you compare to my line, but the winner about the cage. I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call it quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. Run it, I can't take no loss.
I'm trying to see you hand up. No free bees, better pay up. Y'all so cheap, man, we stay up. Feel like the breeze, don't play around. Y'all better pay for the CD. Y'all better pay to come see me. They left the whole crowd sleeping, and that's why you really gon' need me. Y'all better pay for the CD. Y'all better pay to come see me. They left the whole crowd sleeping, and that's why when you really gon' need me.
Yeah, I've been on the road, chill. 31, baby, living out my dream still. I just got off a tour, the product in store I'm playing. I'll be rocking with the guy in the horse, yeah. You just hopped in the coupe, got lock in the shoes. I worship his Zeus, you not gonna shoot. I'm watching you do the cam base, where I'm blocking these fools. I got studio time, I got my watch in the booth, yeah. They be praying on my downfall. I'm an outlaw, switching full seven stances like Southpaw. How come your mouth off when y'all soft? No, you see me on the trampoline, about to bounce off, yeah. It's a matter of time. I know you see me standing in the front, back of the line. I happen to grind every minute, passing the time. We ain't never been friends. How you acting like mine? Y'all need consentment. Y'all got resentment. God's grace lead to repentance. You live for mentions that make me question how you gonna handle a gift if you don't know how to steward a blessing. You can't do it. You don't want a dream chase. You don't put your hands to it. You know the circle strong. 4th and 40 got a pun. No, I don't do what I want. I do it for the kingdom come. I ain't know that I was flowing. I ain't showing sign of slowing. I am going for the jugular, mate. The one to debate. But you seem to want it for free. I ain't doing video unless I'm gonna get paid. Yeah, I've been working on a gift. I ain't doing free shows. You can call me here again. You can call me what you want. It's really absurd. Just because you're the church doesn't really mean you don't have to pay me what I am worth.
I ain't tryna see your hand out. No freebies, better pay out. Y'all so cheap, man, we stay out. Feel like a breeze.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On the road, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel. And Mafia, we got an amazing show for you tonight as Bitcoin is getting a little bit of a bounce. Not really too crazy, but we're getting a little bit of a bounce on Bitcoin, guys. If you watched the live stream last night, you guys know that there are a lot of mixed signals on the chart. We have some money flow looking bearish on the higher time frames. We have macro geopolitical situations and tensions rising. Things, we're about to come into the halving here. We have a lot of things going on in the market, making it pretty hard to read. But we are seeing some things that we were looking at yesterday start to present themselves. So I want to go over those key levels of support and resistance and give you guys my general thoughts on where I think Bitcoin is going. We are in a little bit of a scalp long right now off this little bounce that we were waiting for yesterday, and then eventually we wound up getting the setup today as we got that next little drop to the downside. So I want to cover all that with you guys tonight, but don't forget to smash that like button, guys. Every 100 likes we get gives you guys extra chances to win some free crypto on Friday's live stream. So make sure you smash that like button, and it also helps spread the good word of Frankie Candles out to the interwebs to grow our community into an unstoppable force, even more unstoppable than it already is. Shout out to the CandleMafia. Thank you guys all for being here. And before we jump in, let's see. Shout out to Darren Does Things says, Creighton, it's funny that I know the crayon emoji is just referring to Creighton C. Shout out to Creighton C. Good to see you in here, bro. And I lost it. I don't know what they said. He said, you're not safe here. Frankie throws the wildest shapes. I don't know what that means, but shout out to Darren Does Things, one of our trading coaches in the premium Discord. Shout out to you, brother, and shout out to Creighton C. Let's shout out the rest of the Mafia. We got Crypto Anon in the chat, one of our amazing mods, guys. Show our mods some love in the chat. We got Retro Mike dropping a super chat. Shout out to Retro Mike. I appreciate that so much, bro. And he says, hang on. Let me like it. Shout out to Retro Mike. Says, happy birthday to the ray of sunshine that is Mrs. Fine 89. Shout out to Mrs. Fine 89. She's got to be in here, right? Shout out to Mrs. 589 or Fine 89. If it really is your birthday, happy birthday from Frankie Candles to you. I hope you have the best day ever, and hopefully Wick takes you out for some fun. So shout out to you. But with all that being said, guys, we got Shannon's Ambitious Adventures in the chat. K Diggity, what is going on? We got Crypto Pollo saying he took the Ondo setup yesterday and he's up 68%. I actually forgot we put that setup in here on yesterday's live stream, but shout out to Crypto Pollo. Just remember, we're giving you the info. You're taking action and taking the trades and actually taking profit, hopefully. But congrats on your profits, bro. This is why you do not want to miss a Frankie Candles live stream. You never know what kind of sauce we're going to dish out, so smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Shout out to All Set. Shout out to Hodl Crypto. We got Jay Gilly in the chat, Bitfrog, the Duke, Turtle Tech. Shout out to Turtle Tech. Some people call me Franklin. But anyway, shout out to Logo 11. And last but not least, we got Donato Cabrera and the other TJ and Cryptic Sniper and John Fuji. All the boys are here and the gals. But with all that being said, guys, we do have a whole lot to look at on the charts. So let's go ahead and jump right in and see if we can figure out what this thing's going to do next. Is this a real pump or is it going to fake us out? Let's jump in. I'm going to break it down for you guys. Let's get into it. So here we are, guys. On the Bitcoin chart. I think this is the Bitcoin chart. I'm just kidding. But let me go ahead and take this indicator off really quickly. And let's talk about what we're seeing happen here. Now, if you guys watched the live stream yesterday, you will know we were looking at some mixed signals, right? And we were talking about Bitcoin being in the danger zone, which in my opinion is still definitely my general sentiment. We are starting to see a little bit of a bounce. Obviously, nothing too crazy here. Excuse me. However, Bitcoin is still 100%, in my opinion, dancing with danger here for more than one reason. Remember, we have our 12 and 16-hour money flow on Market Cypher B coming to the downside. 12-hour crossed into the red. 16-hour, also crossed over into the red. And on top of this, you guys will know, we were also looking at yesterday here we are. Got to get rid of these lines once again. I just wanted to go on record here, guys. I am saving this as default. And we'll have to do this again tomorrow. I don't know why this happens to me. I'll even save the chart. But anyway, if you take a look here, guys, obviously we are in a slight bit of danger here if we wind up losing these range lows. And the reason for that is because of this volume gap. I'm not going to go over this too much because this was kind of the focus of the live stream yesterday. But simply put, guys, if we wind up breaking below these range lows, it could easily start a bigger move down for Bitcoin, flying us or sending us flying through this low volume gap, potentially targeting our next high volume node, which to be quite honest with you, isn't even really the biggest level that I'd be watching, but this 51 to 52K high volume node sitting right here would be technically the next stop for Bitcoin, but more likely than not, if we do not hold that level, we could be on our way down to a bigger level of support, which is, in my opinion, a little bit stronger, coming down here in around $42,000. Now, again, we're pretty far away from that happening, but I just want to kind of point that out. If we, the reason I bring this up and the reason we're talking about such low levels here is simply because, guys, again, we are in the danger zone. We lose these range lows, and things are not going to be looking good for Bitcoin. And again, that is because of the low volume gaps, and obviously that is supported also by the money flow on the higher time frames. And then pair this with some geopolitical situations that are getting crazier and crazier as the days go on. This is a potential recipe. I know a lot of people are out there talking about a potential Black Swan event happening, and I will just say, Shout out to W. Gordon said, do you give the ranges in your Discord? Well, if you join the premium Discord, we literally give you the spoon-fed trade setups, which would indeed not incorporate, which would also include the ranges. Yes, so I guess technically, I guess we do. But yeah, you kind of get like a look behind the scenes of everything that I do as far as the trade setups, what key levels we're looking at, what confirmations we look at to enter the actual trades. We do 2 live streams a week, super educational. We talk a lot about mentality, trading discipline, trading psychology, obviously, as well as the setups and the strategies. But a lot of people, there's a lot of people out there that I think put almost too much weight on the technicals and not enough weight on the things that, in my opinion, actually make a profitable trader, which is the discipline and the trading mentality, risk management, good stuff like that. Really, the not sexy stuff. But obviously, you get everything in the premium Discord. So if you guys want to level up your trading game and trade with us in the premium Discord, this bounce was a setup in the Discord, just to kind of give you a little vote of confidence there. But that is, you guys can check the link in the description down below to get in there and trade with us in the kitchen, or the premium Discord, as everyone else calls it. I call it the kitchen, because that's where we make the sauce. Anyway, let's continue on here, guys. So just a little recap on yesterday's stream. The reason we're in the danger zone, we got the low volume gaps, money flow coming out with the geopolitical tensions, not really getting much better. So this does make me a little bit more open to potentially looking for downside. However, I say that, we talked about this last night, I say that as I'm in a scalp long from not directly down here. So yesterday I did take a scalp long, I believe, off of this bounce right here, but I had 2 entries. One entry was here, and then we were waiting to come down to another key level of support, which was a daily naked point of control right here, and I filled the second half of my order. So my entry's not here. It's somewhere between these 2 levels, but that is now in the green. Not going to lie, little bit of a sketchy situation on that trade, to be honest. Was pretty low confidence on that, but now we're at least in the green, which is a decent sign for now. So again, we have to be open to this bearish case potentially playing out, but please understand that I'm saying that as I am not only in this long position, but also still holding my longs from lower. So it's not that I'm just like, oh my God, we're going to zero, everything's super bearish, sell everything, short, go giga short from here. That's not the case, right? We are, we were talking yesterday about how confusing and how many mixed signals we are actually getting on the charts right now. And it's a pretty choppy trading conditions out there, to be honest with you guys. People are getting chopped up left and right. And, especially if you're out there trading, things are very, very unclear. So please be careful. I said this yesterday. Use your stop losses if you're out there trying to trade, because things are just very unclear. We have a lot of mixed signals. But for the most part, my sentiment remains the same as yesterday. Being very careful of this potential bearish scenario. Now, to be quite honest with you, we do have to wind up losing these range lows, right? So, we have a nice little line in the sand. And I'm going to show you not only the line in the sand, not only am I going to show you the line in the sand for a potential bigger move down, but we're also going to talk about the line in the sand, the key level that we need to get above if we want to not dump to 40K or 42K or 52K. If we do not want this bigger move down, I want to talk about that level we got to get above. We looked at it yesterday, but I want to cover it again. So simply put here, guys, what I'm looking at on Bitcoin as far as the TA right now is simply put this volume profile, which is our larger volume profile that we've been looking at. And, simply put, people are saying, well, Frankie, if you're worried about this bearish scenario, I'm not worried about it, but if you're open to this potential bearish scenario playing out, you have the money flow coming out. You have the, on the 12-hour, the 16-hour, you have the geopolitical situation, tensions rising. You have the volume gaps down below. Why the heck are you long? And that is simply for the fact that, number one, we have local confirmations to go long from here. I'm going to talk about those actual confirmations that we saw to actually take this trade. I'm not going to go over all of them, but I'm going to talk about why it was likely to get a bounce here. And simply put, part of that reason is we are trading the volume profile, right? We talk about this every single day. You deviate from the low. You look to go to the POC. The next likely place for price to go is going to be hopping above that POC and going to the value area high. Deviate from the high. This is where you want to look for shorts. You look to bring that back into the volume profile. Once you get stuck under the high, you're looking to go to the POC and then eventually back down to the low. You deviate from the low. This is where you're looking for longs, etc., etc. I think you guys get the point. This is why we trade the volume profiles. And to simply put, part of the reason why I'm taking a long down here is because we do not short support, right? This is support. We do not enter FOMO shorts as we break down below support. Why is that? Well, part of the reason we don't do that is because you can just see right here. Oftentimes, when you come down to support and you break that level, you'll have a lot of breakout traders entering their shorts, and more often than not, those retail traders will get absolutely wrecked. And this is why we long, right, as we deviate from support, and we short as we deviate above the volume value area high, right? So simply put, we're deviating below the range, right? This is very clear TA, and it's kind of not simple, but it's very clear cut right now, right? The purpose for this long is we have deviated below the range, and we are now starting to see some bullish confirmations. Now, part of those bullish confirmations, if we come on over to the 4 hour, I don't know why this didn't mark it out on the 4 hour. It was marking it out earlier today. There we go. But you can see here, as we deviate below this volume profile, you guys can see we are starting to get some bullish divergences as we deviate below that range. We have the lower lows on our price action, and then you can see here marked out by the Lux Algo Matrix Oscillator. We have a higher lows being marked out here with this gold line, showing us that we have a bullish divergence. Now, obviously, you can spot these on the chart yourself. Makes it super simple on Lux Algo to have it marked out easily for you. But simply put, guys, you're below your value area low. This is where we're already looking for longs. Now, there were other confirmations I was looking at to enter this trade. However, we did get the bullish divergence, and typically when you have lower lows on your price action and higher lows on your oscillator like we have right here, it does indicate a potential bounce to the upside. Now, on top of this, guys, we also have, if we go back over to Market Cipher really quickly, we have our money flow. Not to lie, I don't want to be quite honest with you guys. Right now, number one, 15-minute money flow has crossed over into the green. Now, it's crazy, right? Because this 15-minute money flow crossover into the green that you can see right here simply has given us the start of this little push to the upside. Now, why is that, right? Well, in my eyes, right, and let me see if I can mark out this bada boom, right? So this is right where your money flow crossover happened, and then right after that, you get a move to the upside. And this was indicated, right? We have a 4-hour green dot printing on your on the 4 hour, right? You have your green dot printing, and then once that money flow crosses over into the green on the 15-minute, remember, when you see that 4 hour green dot, you can go down to that 15-minute, look for the money flow crossover into the green, and oftentimes that will signal the bigger move to the upside. We use this strategy time and time again. We just did a pre-recorded tutorial video on this on the channel. If you guys want to check that out, mods, if you guys have a link to that, if you could drop it in the chat, I highly recommend checking that out, guys. Super, super easy market cipher strategy to use. But simply put, money flow crossover into the green. You get the move to the upside. On top of that, as I was just showing you on Lux Algo, we had the bullish divergence marked out there. You can see it is also here on Market Cipher. But look at our money flow, guys. Our money flow is simply coming to the downside. So what does this tell us, right? Well, unless we get a fake out on money flow here, right? Because not only is it the 12 and the 16-hour money flow that looks bearish, but coming on over to the 4 hour, this also does not look too hot. So with that being said, what will we anticipate here? Well, this is part of the reason why I am being somewhat cautious with this long position, right? Not only are we in the danger zone for all of the reasons I just mentioned earlier in the stream, but we also have this money flow coming out, making it more likely for this bounce, in my opinion, right, based off of how this money flow typically plays out. We would expect this to be a lackluster bounce to the upside before putting in a lower high and then bringing it back down to put in a lower low. And this is just simply how things typically play out. Now, it's not 100% that that is going to happen, right? We have to understand that, but unless we get a fake out on this money flow and it just comes all the way back up into the green, there is a very, very, very high chance, in my opinion, that, typically, I don't want to even say that there's a high chance right now, but typically when we see this setup with the bull div anticipating a move up, but money flow going against it, you look at that as a lackluster bounce to the upside to put a lower high in and continue to the downside. So with that being said, I am in this scalp long. I will hold this, and this brings me to my next point. Where do we need to get above in order to finally get at what point are we out of the water? Now, this is really hard to put an actual, how out of the water we are. It's kind of hard to put like a label on that. But this level right here, guys, very simply put, now this is basic volume profile stuff. And if we mark this out with a horizontal line, you can see right here, depending on what time frame you're looking at or what exchange you're using, simply put, we have this value area low sitting here between $64,500 and $64,700. Now, this is the key level that we need to get above and hold as support before we get that bigger move to the POC and potentially back up to the value area high. If we have any shot at all to get back into this range and go back up to the value area high for, yet again, another range trade, right? It's very hard to feel confident about this right now with the way money flow looks. That's why I'm being very cautious with this trade, right? I'm talking to the premium Discord being like, guys, When we originally put the setup in there yesterday, I was saying like this is not the highest probability situation because of all the things I just went over, the gaps below, the money flow, and the fact that we are more likely to potentially put in a lower high and get a bigger move down. But based off our rules of trading these ranges, like we probably, it was a little bit better down here because we had money flow coming back up on the 4 hour as we re-entered our volume profile. So it was a little bit more confident that this trade would play out from the low to the high. And I believe this trade was actually put in the dining room, which is our free version, our kind of a free trial type thing for the premium Discord. If you guys are interested in checking that out, get into the free Discord, go to the dining room and sign up there. But that, I believe that was this setup, or it might have been this one. Might have been both of them. But the point is, money flow was coming up here before we got that move from the low back to the high. We simply do not have that happening here, right? And you have the bull div, but money flow is just coming against you. And that is why this one is a little bit less lower probability, in my opinion, to actually play out to the final TP. However, based off our rules, we are simply just trading the charts, right? I'm not just because I feel, right, there are things on the chart pointing to a potential bearish scenario playing out here. But I got my confirmations. I got the deviation below the low. We got the bull divs on top of other confirmations I was looking at. And we took the position, right? Simply put, if we do not get back above this key level, again, sitting at $64,554. This is going to be, we can't get back above this. This could wind up being a big pullback and could eventually start the move below these range lows to give us that next bigger move down, which obviously that next target would be, the next bigger target would be between 51 and 52K, the level I just showed earlier. However, on our way down there, we do have some other local levels that we can look at for potential scalp longs, right? And simply put, I mean, we've been looking at these levels for quite some time. Where are we? Let me pull up the mini range. Bada boom. Where did our mini range go? Let me just pull it up. I'll pull it up on this chart real quick. Yeah, so there is that actual long position from the premium. So that is starting to play out. But let me just hide that really quickly. And I just want to show you guys a range down below that I am looking at. Let me go ahead and hide these levels. And simply put, we will pull up our mini range here. Now, obviously, I mean, we've showed this a bunch of times on the channel. But, at this situation, guys, not only is our key level here sitting at about 64,000, 64,005 to 64,007. The reason this is a key level is not only because it is the value area low of this range. That is not the only reason, right? It is also the value area high, right, or very close to the value area high of this lower range. So if we're able to flip this level to support, not only will we be getting above the value area low, but we would also be attempting to get out of this value area high, which we need both of those things to get a break into the bigger range, potentially coming up to the value area high of the previous upper volume profile, right? And then obviously one thing I really would pay attention to here is definitely not only gonna be this golden pocket, but also this is just one more key level I want to bring up to you guys, and that is the 786 Fibonacci retracement level sitting right here but at $68,828, because simply put, let me just go ahead and grab my pen tool. So simply put, we've broken down below. We tested the golden pocket. If we do wind up coming back up, I would anticipate resistance on that 786, and it could potentially be a high likelihood area if we are going to put in a lower high and see that bearish money flow play out. This could be a big level to look at for that lower high to come in and give us a bigger break to the downside. And then two levels to the downside that I am going to be paying attention to. These aren't necessarily like the most bullish levels ever, right? To be honest, they're not really that significant in my own personal opinion. But the value area low sitting here at between about 57,263 all the way up to this SFP level sitting at about 59K. So if we come back down, simply put, if we can't get back above our key level that I mentioned earlier, right, that $64,700 level, we can't get back up into that range to go to the high. Simply put, we're just going to be using this lower range as context, right? We're just simply going to say, hey, We came up, we couldn't get back into the old range. So where's the next place for price to likely go? Simply put, it's going to be going back down to that POC. You lose that POC, we're going to be looking to go back down to the value area low, understanding we have this SFP level here that we could potentially look for scalp longs on that at $59,088. And then again, it's hard to call what exactly will happen here if we do get down here. But I just want to bring up the levels, right? Because if we come down here, we could look for longs off that SFP. If you know what I'm talking about, we have to look for a swing failure pattern. And then if you come back down to this blue box, this gives us just a simple opportunity to look for a long, as we typically do, at value area lows, right? Which we are literally doing right now. That's why I'm in the position from down here, because we're deviating below the low. So if we get another move back down to this lower range, we'll simply be looking for the same thing down at these levels. But again, I really want to hammer this home. These are not necessarily like the big levels, right? The big levels, in my opinion, or the important levels, are really going to be like 52K. It's like a little bit of a bigger level. But even that, like the real next area, and simply, guys, just look at the price action, right? This isn't just because I picked these levels and these are the levels that I think are strong, right? These levels, and not only levels, but gaps, are based off the volume profile. These are not just, I'm not looking at these levels saying like, oh, this one got tapped 4 times, like that looks like it's strong, or this level looks like it could break. I am simply looking at the volume-derived levels. These levels come from volume. So simply put, there is nothing really holding us up in this entire leg to the upside, right? We have these little levels here, but quick moves up oftentimes lead to quick moves down, right? So if we wind up losing support here, again, like really these range lows, it could lead to that quick move to the downside. Quick move up, quick move down. We talked about this yesterday. Then you have a little bit of consolidation, and this is just like a little bit of chart sauce here, guys. Like, if you don't have indicators or anything, for some reason you can't even use free indicators, you can just look at your price action. This is typically how things work, right? Quick moves up lead to quick moves down. You have these little areas of consolidation, right, that will likely cause us to stick to that level slightly, right? And then once you lose that level, you're very likely to move quickly through this level because you got a quick move up, and it will likely move to wind up being a quick move to the downside. And then the next area where you have a significant level of support, even if you pull up the VPVR, and here we are once again for the 30th time, turning off these levels and saving it as default. But you have your high volume node down here, and it is also supported by this lower range. We did not spend a lot of time here. This is why I'm putting less weight on that 51 to 52K level. Now, can we get a big move up off that level? Absolutely. But in my personal opinion, this is a much more solid level of support, right? Because we spent a lot more time here, in turn, developing a lot more volume, in turn, making it a much stronger level. Again, not because I feel, not because I think, because based off the information, right? And again, like this doesn't mean that just because you have a high volume node, you can't just melt through that level, but it makes it higher probability that it will stick as a stronger level. So, if we do wind up getting the big move down, simply put, I will be looking at this as our lower range. So bada boom, there you go. And just to put some numerical values on this, value area high sitting at about 44.3, and then your value area, let me grab that tool here. There we go. Bada boom. So value area high at about 44.3. Value area low sitting at about 40,800. And then obviously your POC is pretty close to your value area high. So, obviously, you look at this chart, right? And just even if I had no volume profile and no other tools that I could use, I'm probably going to say, well, hey, once we decisively lose these levels, we have nothing but air, right? There was nothing holding us back here. So if we break down below that level, there's probably nothing holding us up, right? Well, hey, I have a little bit of bing bong here, a little bit of consolidation, a little bit of price attraction or magnetism, and that is probably where we're going to stick. Maybe we get a little bounce off that level, but again, just looking at this chart, simply put, the clear stronger level is going to be down here. So keep that in mind. Other than that, simply, I am keeping my same sentiment as yesterday. Bitcoin is definitely in the danger zone, but if we can get back above this value area high, value area low, we could potentially see the scalp long that we're in right now move to that POC, potentially the value area high, with the exception of the Fibonacci retracements. I do believe, it's kind of an annoying situation because, like, I want to say that the 786 is really the line in the sand, but it's already almost at the value area high. So simply put, right? Because again, it's not always this confusing of a situation, guys, because money flow oftentimes is in agreement if we're going to get all the way up to that value area high. So if money flow is coming up, it would be a much more confident move to the value area high. But again, with the way money flow looks, we have to at least anticipate a lackluster move to the upside to put in a lower high, whether it be the golden pocket or the 786, to potentially make a lower low. So I will be, if we get it back above this level, that is good news. But you have to understand there is still resistance above. But really, this is the key level we need to get above. If we can get above here, I do think there's a good shot to get to the value area high. If not, at least the POC, right? So that's what I'm going to be looking at, guys. But overall, it's really hard to call right now. Like, based off this 4-hour, guys, if we were not in the specific situation or specific market conditions that we are in right now, right? The halving is down the road, right? Halving is in, I believe, on Saturday. So, you know, if we were not in this very particular situation in this particular time in the market, I would be much more likely to be like setting up resistance here, being like, hey, where are we looking for the short? Oh my God, we got high time frame money flow coming out. I'm going to be looking for the short at the POC. I mean, speaking of this would be somewhat of a valid idea. Not saying to trade this, but you know, if we do wind up coming to that golden pocket, this would kind of be a resistance level that I would be paying attention to potentially look for bearish confirmations for a potential move back down. And then on top of that, you could obviously, the value area high is always going to be a resistance level you're looking at, but that 786 sitting here as well, we know the lower high could potentially come in there. So it's going to make it another key level of resistance. So there you go. There's some local resistance as well. I wasn't even going to talk about that, but if we do get up, you have to understand that like there is a chance that you can get the rejections here based off money flow. But, you know, the argument here for just a massive move up would really just be a fake out on money flow. Like, we would have to see everything just fake out and give us a huge move to the upside. And that would just kind of be an anomaly, right? It would just be like, oh, wow, like money flow just completely faked out. And we talked about this yesterday, comparing it to an older range that we were trading in right here. Right? Because here we were looking to break out to higher prices as we were trading the range. I entered a long position. I'm still holding it down here at $40,000. But what was going on here, right? We had money flow trending to the upside. And then as that crosses over into the green, it makes it more likely that you're going to get another push up. But we literally have the opposite going on here. And you can't unsee that, right? This isn't my opinion. This is what is on the chart, right? So there you go, right? Like, this is not just me being like, I feel like we're bearish. This is simply what's on the chart. We do not have money flow coming up, which would indicate a larger move to the upside. We have money flow coming out, which makes it more likely to put in a lower high and reject from one of these two levels, right? Or maybe the value area high. So keep that in mind. That makes the more likely scenario based off the TA a lower high and a rejection. But again, halving is down the road, right? Halving is 2 days away, right? 3 days away, 5 days away, whatever it is, Saturday, right? And just where we are in the market makes it somewhat likely to get a fake out, right? And like, even we talked about the daily money flow fake out that we wound up getting right here. We literally called this one. It was a similar situation where we're like, hey guys, this is a little sketchy. The 4-hour money flow is coming up. We could break out, but the daily money flow is coming down. This was literally another time where it was like, guys, I'm sorry. I hate coming on here and not being able to give a clear answer, but that's just simply a reality of the situation sometimes, right? Like, sometimes we're just given foggy charts and we can't really make much sense of them, right? We can only take the information we're given. And what happened here, right? Money flow was coming out, but we knew the reason we were looking for the fake out here was simply me just saying, hey, I've been through other cycles, and when you get to this part of the cycle, it is more likely for money flow to fake out into the red and come back into the green. You are much more likely to spend more time in the green than in the red, and we always bring it all the way back to the 2021 bull run, right? After the 2020 dump, you cross into the green, you come out, barely fake out into the red, right back into the green. Back into the red, right back into the green. Look how much longer we spent in the green than the red. We were almost in the green with our daily money flow for the entirety of over a year, right? So you have to understand that that is a definite possibility, and that is why I am saying, like, based off the charts, it's like, this is bearish. It's like 100% you'd be looking for shorts just looking at this chart. However, based off knowing where we are in the cycle, you have to think to yourself, well, hey, typically around this time, we start to fake out on these money flow crossovers into the red, and we spend a lot more time in the green. This is why things are confusing, right? It's not that, like, we didn't look at the charts long enough today or we didn't look at the charts long enough this week. It's just simply the market conditions that we're given. Unfortunately, we can't control that, but what we can do is we can control and manage our risk and only take the highest probability setups, and that's the way I protect myself in these uncertain times. I take way less trades when the market is choppy like this. And, you know, I was talking to the premium Discord earlier about this. There is a little bit of an extra level of there is a shout out to Mrs. Candles. Bring in the hand here. You could take that and talk to him if you want. Okay. Can you actually text him for me? Just pretend you're me. Just be like, hi, Frankie Candles here. What's up? Are we meeting up? But anyway, yeah, maybe just text him and be like, hey, what's up? Shout out to Mrs. Candles. There's a Mrs. Candles hands. All right, show a little hand first. Come on. Come on. Should I spank it? I'm going to spank it. No, come on. Oh, come on. No, come on. I won't do it. Let me just sniff it. Let me just sniff it. Come on. Woo! Anyway, yeah. Yeah, potentially. But anyway, guys, sorry about that. I have family coming to town here in a little bit. Or they're in town. We're supposed to meet up, so I'm trying to coordinate that. But anyway, this is just something that we deal with, right? And I was talking to the Premium Discord. What was it? Yesterday's Premium live stream, and I was saying, I have an added level of emotion to my trading, right? Because I'm a content creator, and I have people watching me. I'm literally talking about the charts every single day, and I was talking about sometimes, I am, nudged, right, by my emotions, like, hey, maybe hold that trade, right, because you could show the live stream tomorrow, and, that is another demon that creeps up on me because I've kicked most of my emotions out of trading. Yes, that's right, Mafia. I am dead inside, but, when it comes to trading at least, but, this is a lot of those emotions for me now creep up only because sometimes I'm, urged to like, hey, maybe hold this for the stream or whatever. But I never do, right? Typically, I just close the trade anyway because that's just bad trading hygiene, whether I can show it to the live stream or not. The market doesn't care that I'm going live tomorrow at 5:45, right? The market will just dump and take all my money away from me regardless of what I want to do, right? And so that's why I don't follow those emotions. But, this is just simply put a little bit of a difficult situation that we see. It's just a foggy market that we're given. But again, that's how I protect myself, and that's how I don't get wrecked. Sometimes the best trade is no trade, guys. If you feel yourself itching to get into a trade, you're like, oh man, I'm just like bored. I want to get into a trade. Get away from your computer. Stand up and walk away. Because even if you try to force a trade and you win the trade, you're just training yourself to have bad trading hygiene, and it's going to evolve and make you lose money over time. So keep that in mind, and shout out to Overcome. Thank you so much for that. I don't know if that's a super chat or a tip or I don't know what you call those because there's no text. But shout out to Overcome. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Dropping a little tip in there. I guess we can consider that a tip. What is a super chat with no text? I have no idea. But anyway, guys, that is what we're looking at. Shout out to Darren Does Think says, Frankie the soulless hand sniffer. Hey, why do you guys always call me a hand sniffer? I do not sniff. Oh, I do that on camera sometimes, don't I? Can't walk myself out of that one. Anyway, let's see. Trying not to be a taker. Shout out to Overcome. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. Let's see. Shout out to Crane C said, Frankie, a lot of people don't think the bull market starts till after the halving. I guess this would somewhat, you could argue this, right? It really depends on what you're referring to. Shout out to Crane C. I like that you said this, bro. Thank you for that. Here's the thing. It depends, right? Because most of the time when I'm talking about the bull market, I am talking about the bull market in terms of the 4-year cycle, right? Simply put, you can identify a bull market by bullish market structure on the higher time frame, right? So it's you could classify a bull market. I guess the technical definition of a bull market would just be the bulls are in control, which would literally be bullish market structure. So in my opinion, right, I'm open to other ideas, but in my opinion, a bull market would be bullish market structure, right? So in that case, that starts as soon as you physically start the bullish market structure, which has already been in play here, and we're not even at the halving yet. So in that case, you could argue that you've been in a bull market for a while. But typically when I refer to the bull market, I do typically refer to it in the traditional terms of a 4-year Bitcoin cycle. In that case, I can understand just saying the bull market starts after the halving. Sure, that is typically where you see the real parabolic movements start. Right before the halving is typically like your last chance to accumulate. So, and that's just based off history. So I do kind of get both, right? And I'm not somebody who's like, if you think this, you're totally wrong, right? You could argue that saying the bull market starts after the halving is incorrect, which I guess if you're using bullish market structure as your definition, which I think it really would be, technically you're incorrect. But I kind of do get it. So shout out to Crane C. Thank you for saying that, bro, because for me, oftentimes I'm talking about the 4-year cycle, but you could also just talk about bullish market structure on the higher time frames, right? So there you go. Shout out to Salty Biscuit. Shout out to you, bro. That's our point. That's our 0.02 Bitcoin giveaway winner. Shout out to Salty Biscuit. Said, Frankie, what do you focus on when trying to determine the fake outs? Are there any signals that you lean on? I only have the Lux Algo Oscillator. Shout out to the Salty Biscuit. This is a great question because a lot of people will say, you know, and I assume you mean the money flow fake outs, or I guess just the fake out that we're looking for, right? Like the money flow fake out would be a fake to the downside and a big move up. Now, for me, when I'm talking about the money flow fake outs, typically I'm usually referring to market cipher money flow. However, you know, the way I am able to really, like, to be honest with you, the only reason that I was talking about a money flow fake out here when we actually got it, the only reason I really knew this was I didn't know it was going to happen, right? We thought it was probable to happen, right? The reason I thought this was going to happen was simply just based off of, number one, looking at Market Cipher for as many years as I have been, right? Which is a long time. And I've seen Market Cipher behave in different market conditions over and over again. And I think this plays a big part in me kind of seeing and understanding when they're going to fake out. And the other thing is just understanding where we are in the cycle, right? And simply put, I zoom out and I say, hey, like, even if I hide all this stuff, right? Like, this is going to be very valuable for anybody learning right now. If I hide everything but the money flow, you can just see here, right? You can simply see bull market, right? We'll say, you know, 2020 dump, bull market, right? You're in the green for almost that entire time. Right now, compare that to the bear market, right? It's obvious. I mean, not likely, but not obviously, but like not shockingly, it's the same thing, but in the opposite direction. We spend much more time in the red, and all the green money flow crossovers were kind of fake outs, right? Fake out, back down, fake out, back down, fake out, back down, fake out, back down, right? Bigger fake out, back down. But look, we spent so much more time in the bear market in the red, which is, again, like somewhat, you know, it's not shocking, but I know that, you know, if you look at this chart, we could argue that we are somewhere in here, right? We could argue that we're somewhere in here in this cycle. So what would we anticipate? We would probably anticipate money flow to at least not spend a ton of time in the red. It doesn't mean it can't cross over, and it also doesn't mean it can't just fully go into the red. But, you know, time after time, we see this play out, and this would make me anticipate, hey, like maybe this money flow crossover into the red is not going to be really that crazy. Maybe we'll just come back into the green. And it's simply just understanding where we are in the market, right? We are likely somewhere in here, right? I mean, technically, if you did it by date, you know, it's the 4-year cycle. So where are we? What is it? April. What is today's date? April 16th, right? So obviously, we are somewhere, you know, we're definitely somewhere in here, right? Before the parabolic blow off top, right? Well, this wasn't really a blow off top. It was a double top. But you get the point, right? And this is kind of how I look at that. Shout out to the Salty Biscuit. Hopefully that kind of helps you clear that up. It's just the knowledge and understanding of where we are in the cycle. So keep that in mind, or hopefully that helps you out. Shout out to the Salty Biscuit. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on here. I guess if you guys want to see your favorite altcoins, go ahead and spam them in the chat, and then Rob the Crypto Snob will count up the votes and let us know what else we're looking at. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Let's see. Shout out to Dirty 8 Racing. Said if you go back in time, you can see it on the chart. I guess you're responding to someone. Shout out to Dirty 8 Racing. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. Shout out to Bullish Bradley. Says 40K incoming before Monday. Shout out to Bullish Bradley. I mean, Bradley, you got to change your name, right? You have to change your name. I'm just kidding, bro. I'm just kidding. But shout out to Bullish Bradley. Like I said, I mean, if that were to happen, the key level I'd be watching would definitely, we come down to a lower time frame, that key level that I'd be looking at would definitely be this zone right here, right? High volume node, value area between 44 and 41K. So that would be likely the area that we would land on. But yeah, it's non-possible. I'll be honest with you, bro. Non-possible. Yeah, trust me. If there was something screaming on the chart that was definitely not, I don't know how likely that is, but definitely not impossible. Got to say that. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Yo, shout out to American Crypto Monster. Said, better Gary Doge while you can. Shout out to you, bro. All right, let's go ahead and continue on here, guys. Let's go ahead and start off on Ethereum, or Erythrium, as your grandmother might call it. Real quick shout out to Crypto Pollo. If you guys watched the live stream yesterday, you will know we took a look at Ondo on the MEXC chart. And there was something very specific we were looking at on that MEXC chart. Shout out to Crypto Pollo. We were looking at this weekly and daily naked point of control as a key level of support. We dipped it, we slipped it just a little bit, and we are now potentially trying to reclaim this. Actually got a pretty big snap back above that level, kind of like a delayed response there. We didn't really, we bounced off the level once, slipped it, and then boom, ripped right back up to the value area high. If we hold this level, I will be honest with you, holding this level and holding, building support up here, closing higher time frame candles above it would be a little bit bullish in my opinion, right? Not looking for a moonshot, but a weekly and monthly naked point of control on Ondo like this. There's a reason we were looking at this level yesterday, right? These naked points of controls as well as the point of control of your range. Pretty interesting. Like, this is not a horrible look here. Now, based off your volume profile, you would definitely be expecting, if you lose the POC, very likely you come back down to the value area low. But this, if you hold above this weekly and daily naked point of control, it may be able to give you enough juice to break out of this range, to be honest with you. But I just wanted to cover that. Shout out to Crypto Pollo. Out here, taking the information and making the absolute best use of it. Shout out to Crypto Pollo. Hopefully you pay yourself when you're in the green, and hopefully you are still in the green. This is like a big wick up and then a snap right back down. Thought this was gonna still be pumping. But shout out to Crypto Pollo. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue on here. Crypto Owl said, "Can we take a look at the liquidations?" Absolutely. Before we jump on over to what is it called? Ethereum. Let's just pull up those liquidation heat maps really, really quickly here. Let me pull up High Block. And we'll pull up those liquidation heat maps on Bitcoin, and then we'll take a look at Ethereum, and then we'll jump into all the saucy altcoins. Shout out to Crypto Pollo, said the bull div gave really good confluence. Shout out to Crypto Pollo. You got to watch out for those divs. They could be amazing confirmation for your trade. Shout out to Crypto Anon. Thank you for reminding me that, bro. I might have missed that. If you didn't shout that out, shout out to Golden coming in here and gifting 50. That's 10. 50. I don't know if that's backwards for you guys. 50 Frankie Candles memberships. Shout out to Golden, the GOAT. I don't know how we wound up with you, bro, but Golden is the absolute GOAT. Drop those golden emojis if you got a Frankie Candles memberships. And over here, we call that a golden we call it a golden waterfall. So drop that golden emoji, create the biggest golden waterfall you've ever seen. Hopefully you've never seen him in real life, but go ahead and spam that golden emoji. Let's go, baby. I see him popping in. Let's go. Shout out to Golden, bro. You are the absolute GOAT. Golden was over here yesterday in the studio. I think you guys heard him in the background. But shout out to Golden, the GOAT. Let's continue on. Anyway, anytime you guys hear the GOATs in the background, it's usually just Golden on his computer, just crushing the trades and dropping tons of Frankie Candles memberships. Look at the golden emojis flying. I absolutely love it. But let's go ahead and continue on here and take a look at our liquidation heat map, guys, because this can actually give us a little bit of insight into where price may be gravitated to, right? So let's pull this up real quick. And I do want to show this. Now, we are starting to build. This is rough, right? Because we are starting to build a bit of liquidity below and a bit of liquidity above. And we talked about this yesterday. Where are the hot spots of liquidity? Let's pull up that 3-month real quick to get a little bit more of a granular look. There's Golden in the chat. What is going on, bro? Seriously, for real, bro. Thank you so much for everything you do. You are like the most selfless human being I've ever seen or met in my entire life. Just giving what seems to be infinite love to the CandleMafia. For real, bro. You are literally one of the most selfless people I've ever met. Probably the most selfless person I ever met. Just looking to help the community. Shout out to Golden, the absolute GOAT. But let's continue on here. As we look at the heat map, guys, understand, right? At this point, sometimes the heat map can give us a little bit of clarity on where more liquidity is sitting, a.k.a. where price is likely to gravitate to. We have a whole lot of liquidity everywhere right now, right? Obviously, as typical, as per usual, we have our liquidity above the all-time high, right? And then we have a lot of liquidity down below as well. And then underneath that, we have even more liquidity, right? So to be honest with you, this is a little bit more unclear, at least looking at the three-month chart here. there's liquidity everywhere, and it's really hard to kind of make an assumption. Like, one thing that is for sure is this liquidation wick did its job. You know, when you get these big crashes in the market, I know a lot of people get really scared, and this is why I try to teach exactly why price moves, guys. Price does not move because it's in some kind of trading pattern, right? This is not why price moves. Price moves because people buy, people sell, and liquidity, right? This is why the market actually moves. And that's why, you know, I know this push to the downside is scary, but by looking at stuff such as the order flow, we talked about this yesterday, looking at exo charts, we were able to see, is that the dump? Yeah, you're able to see the actual liquidations in the market, right? And you can actually find out if there's actual selling interest at a level or if the move down was based off mostly liquidations. And this is stuff you have to look at some more advanced tools to find out. But in my opinion, right, especially looking at the heat map, it's not uncommon to get these liquidation wicks pushing down into where? These pockets of liquidity. You can see, let me screenshot this really quickly, guys, because these tags, shout out to Tony D. Remind me to bring this up. Let's talk about this tomorrow, Tony. I would absolutely love. This is a tool I use every single day. We should try to use any kind of influencer power that we have to contact Hyblock and ask if it's possible. It might be like hard, I don't know, but I feel like it'd be easy. I mean, this is baseless, but like I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to just make an option where you can just not see any of these tags. I want to just see the chart. But anyway, let me just screenshot this, guys. Shout out to Vinny from Hyblock. We fellow Paisan from New York. They are awesome over there at Hyblock. An absolutely incredible trading tool. Absolutely will change the game for you. But anyway, you know, you could see, right, we had this heavy spot of liquidity right down here. We also had this little liquidity pool sitting right here. So, you know, as we were coming down here, it gets more and more likely that, hey, if we keep going down, like, we're probably headed towards these liquidity pockets, right? Because these liquidity pockets act as magnets for price. And I literally went over exactly why liquidity acts as a magnet. I honestly highly recommend, if you don't know what liquidity is or you don't understand it, you hear that word and you're like, what is that? That sounds super confusing. Go check out the stream from last night. I don't know exactly the timestamp, but just scrub through. You'll see a bunch of weird drawings on the chart. I explained why liquidity acts as a magnet. But as price breaks down here, you're thinking to yourself, hey, if we keep coming down, we're probably targeting this pocket of liquidity or maybe even here. And that is where you would look for price to run through to wreck all the longs before getting a reversal. And we have done that, right? The question is, and this is hard to answer, are we going to come down and grab the rest of that liquidity, right? Potentially bringing you down to the low 50s or even down here, right on our 50-ish K level that we were looking at on TradingView, right here, right? We know we have a lot of liquidity, or I'm sorry, right here, right? So because we probably have a lot of people longing at this level, right? I was longing at the bottom of this range, but a lot of people are longing the bottom of this range, putting a lot of their stop losses and liquidation levels right below this range, which is why likely there's a lot of liquidity sitting here. So the question is, are we going to come down and clear out all that leverage, or was this enough to give us a little bit more of a bounce to the upside? And that's very hard to answer. And again, just adds to the confusion and the indecision in the market. It's when you can look at this heat map, typically you get a better idea of where price is likely to go next. But with this down here, right? Whoops. With all this over here, it is very, very, very hard to tell. But if that money flow crossover into the red on the 12 and 16 hour plays out, very likely that we take out this liquidity, which is literally why I'm saying if that money flow crosses over and gives us that bearish scenario to play out, there is reason to come down here to clear out all this leverage. So take that for what it's worth. But shout out, Crypto Owl. Shout out to you. I wanted to show these anyway, so thank you for bringing that up. But let's go ahead and continue on. Oh, yeah, Darren says 50K Bitcoin means altcoin fire sale. Absolutely, Darren. I did pick up some alts on this little dip here, but if we dump, I will simply just pick up more. But let's go ahead and continue on here. Taking a look at our altcoins. Shout out to Rob, the Crypto Snob. The altcoin votes are in and being counted, or they are in. And the altcoins for tonight are going to be starting off with ETH, and then moving into FTM, ADA, DOT, VeChain, and Caspa, and then maybe a few extras if we have time. I don't know if we'll have time. Sometimes we can't even get through the ones that we're looking at because we get too much sauce on them. We get way too much sauce, like we did on Ondo yesterday. Shout out to Crypto Pollo. Literally, I mean, don't ever copy, what we're talking about on this. This is just for entertainment purposes, guys, but Crypto Pollo somehow made money off what we were talking about yesterday. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, let's continue on here. Looking at Ethereum, guys, simply put, so simply put, we lost our value area low, came down to our weekly naked point of control. Now, again, we did have a long setup here on Ethereum in the premium Discord. This is already, the entry was down here, I believe. I'm not going to pull it up, but we had a setup here from this key level down here on Ethereum. Is this going to play out? Kind of hard to say, to be quite honest with you. The weekly naked point of control is definitely a key level. As long as we hold above that, it's kind of similar to Bitcoin, right? And let me get rid of these blue boxes so I can kind of just give you guys a little bit of a simpler chart to look at here. Bada boom, right? So this value area low is our key level, just like on Bitcoin, right? Simply put, you lose your range low. I will say the bullish confirmations were slightly less obvious here, to be quite honest with you. But this is, once we're able to hold above this level, potentially, the next place that we need price to get above is going to be that value area low, which on Ethereum is sitting at $3,200. If you're able to flip that $3,200 level to support, next likely place for price to go is where, Creighton C? I know Creighton C knows the answer to this question. I know a lot of people, other people do as well. Shout out to Rob Crypto Snob. Thank you for that, brother. I appreciate you. There you go. Shout out to Creighton C. Says the POC is going to be that next likely place for price to go. And simply put, he is correct. And then once you get back above that POC, you can look for a move back up to our next key level of resistance, where we got that little rejection from. Not a setup, but we did look for this on a premium live stream. Not that we keep, we're not going to call every single move, but has been, this one tapped to the dollar. But anyway, if we get a move to the high of this range, value area low of our macro range here, right, as well as the value area high of our local range, this is a key level of resistance. And in my opinion, this holds you back from getting massive upside on Ethereum. So this is kind of the local trajectory that we would hope Ethereum will take. And is there reason for this to happen? Again, this obviously looks very similar to Bitcoin. 16-hour money flow is in the red. Your daily money flow is also coming out, but look at your VWAP. Your VWAP is coming up, and I'm going to break this down very simply, guys. Your VWAP, your green dots and your red dots indicate the ebbs and flows in the market. Money flow crossovers indicate the whole trend. So again, this daily money flow coming out could indicate that this downtrend is likely to continue, right? But with the green dot looking to print, we may get an ebb or a flow to the upside, right? So you might get a little bing, bong, right? But money flow would indicate the overall trend. So bearish on the money flow, but that green dot could give you a bounce in the short term. But what would you expect? You would expect a lackluster bounce to the upside before a potential lower high and a move back to the downside. But until then, we can look. The key level is definitely going to be that value area low sitting at $3,200. We flip that to support, we could potentially see some higher prices for Ethereum. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, Frankie, if we're going to get that lower high and I want to catch a short, where should I be looking? And I can't tell you that, right? Because I'm not a financial advisor. But I can give you the levels of resistance where there may be a likely lower high. In my opinion, the highest likelihood, right? Obviously, you want to keep an eye on the golden pocket, but just because we have the 786 PLC confluence right here, this would be a very key level to watch, in my opinion. Right, so you get a move back to the upside. You hold this. I would look for a move to the golden pocket and then the POC. I would definitely be cautious on the POC 786. However, golden pocket is a potential lower high scenario, but this is just a little bit stronger in my opinion. And then once you break above that 786, that is where it's very likely to come test the high of the range, in my own personal opinion, not financial advice. So there you go. Shout out to Daniel. Says, wow, your TA is amazing, bro. Shout out to Daniel. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you. I like doing it, and I do it all the time, like every day, all day, even before I have my YouTube channel. So that is good to know that you're enjoying this, because it'd be very sad. I'd be very upset if I did this as much as I did, and it was bad. Shout out to you, bro. I do appreciate that. Those comments go a lot farther than you guys probably think. All right. Yo, shout out to Daniel. Says, shout out to Daniel. Let's go. That's another. Oh, no, that was the same Daniel shouting out Daniel. Shout out to Daniel. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue. I said, thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. And we're here doing this every single day, so feel free to come by and get your little dose of Frankie Candle sauce. Yo, shout out to Little Pev. Said, what does Tony D sound like? Hey, what's up, bro? I think that sounds like him. I don't know. That's a hilarious Yo, shout out to Rudak says, bro, your financial advices are not financial advices. Exactly. There is no financial advice. But yeah, shout out to Little Peb. I don't know what Tony sounds like. He's just kind of like, I don't know. Like, hey, what's up, bro? I don't know. I don't know. He just sounds like a guy. Shout out to Tony D. He's got a voice of gold. He could sing like none other. He could serenade you. He could serenade you with his voice. He doesn't serenade me. But anyway, let's continue on here, guys. That's what we're looking at on Ethereum. And shout out to Crypto Anon. Let's go, guys. Don't forget, Crypto Billy's Twitter space, Billy Goat Tales, tonight at 9 p.m. on X, also known as Twitter, or formerly known as Twitter. Go check it out. Shout out to Crypto Anon. Link is here, guys. Save that link. Go back and watch it at 9 p.m. It's amazing and super valuable. And you guys never know who's going to pop in there. Trust me. So shout out to Crypto Billy. And Anon, you don't have to super chat again, but towards the end of the stream, when I take the alt list off, send that link a couple times, and I'll pin it. Unless you can pin it. I don't know if you have permission to pin it, but if you do, you could feel free to pin it after the alt list is done. Check out Billy Goat Tales. Let's go. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue. Beetlejuice says, I am poor. We are poor. Yo, there is something about a we are poor chant that is hilarious. Okay, he sounds like Celine Dion. Shout out to Bad Axe, dude. Yo, Tony D has a voice, the voice of Celine Dion. Unbelievable. The body of Arnold Schwarzenegger and the voice of Celine Dion. Anyway, let's go ahead and check out FTM. Tony D said, I have a horrible... Yo, I can't, bro. Why is this derailing? Shout out to Tony D. Says, I have a horribly deviated septum, so I'm very nasally, but I speak like a king. Yo, this is out of control, bro. This is wild. This is wild. That couldn't have been a better answer, Tony. Shout out to Tony. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to FTM, guys. Let's take a look at what we got going on. Oh, God. I'm not going to be able to unhear Tony singing like Celine Dion now. Okay, let's continue on. Shout out to Wick 589. Let's go. But anyway, let's take a look at FTM. Whew, look at this little range down here. Little retest on that POC before the big breakout. But, yeah, this is just sitting down here. That is interesting. Let me see if we have another chart to look at here real quick. Excuse me. There we go. Guys, these weekly and daily naked points of controls are like, whew, they are like our last chance. And like crypto is just clinging onto these levels like, mommy, hold me. I don't want to fall any further. Send me up. But I will say this locally. We do have, I mean, this would be considered a key level in my opinion, right? Weekly, daily naked point of control, mark it out with a blue box for support. And I will say, is it possible to continue bouncing from here? I do think it is possible, right? Because you have your lower lows on your price action. You have the 4-hour bullish divergence with your higher lows here. Is that marked out on Lux Algo? Let's check it. Oh, it's not confirmed yet. But you have your lower lows, your higher lows, giving you that bullish divergence. If you are able to get back above this level, hold it as support, we could get a move above this value area low, and that would be your key to a little bit of a higher price. Very similar to like Ethereum and Bitcoin. We're kind of just deviated below the range. But in order to get a bigger move up, we absolutely have to get the push into this value area low. Otherwise, if we lose this level, I mean, let's be honest, we have a weekly and a monthly down here. Let's pull up that VPVR. Yeah. I mean, you have a little bit of support here at a 49 cents, but for the most part, you have a pretty big volume gap all the way down here, all the way down to about 41 cents. So with that being said, this is going to be, you know, you have the bull div. I would argue that it's not the strongest. It's really not the strongest signal, to be honest with you. And if we pull up Market Cipher one more time, like money flow is just not perfect, right? 2-hour money flow actually doesn't look too bad. 1-hour money flow doesn't look that bad. You have a 16-hour green dot. So I'll say this. If you get a push to the upside, this green dot on the 16-hour, if this is still printing while you get the 1-hour money flow crossover into the green, I think that 1-hour money flow crossover into the green could be the thing that gives you the bigger move to the upside. So I'm actually going to label this, right? I'm actually going to put this 1-hour money flow crossover could start move up. right? I'm going to put that right here, right? So if you get that 1 hour money flow crossover, that might be where you get the bigger move up towards that value area low, which would be your next key level of resistance, in my own personal opinion, sitting at 76 cents. So that's what I'd be looking at on FTM. You lose this value area low, you're probably going to start an exciting move to the downside, and not exciting in a good way, based off the volume gap, bringing you down to around, again, this higher volume node at about 49 cents, understanding you'd also have a little bit of support at 54 cents on this little spike of volume. But for the most part, the gap, in my opinion, does go from this node all the way to this node. Again, getting closer to about 42 to 41 cents. So there you go. That is what I'm looking at on FTM. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Tony D, bro. You're wild, dude. First of all, you're wild for that. You are not based in that comment. But shout out to you. He said, bro, I'm built like Ralphie May. Yo, you're not built like Ralphie May, but that is a crazy thing to say. Shout out to Tony D. If you think you look like Ralphie May, bro, you are out of your mind. Shout out to Tony D. Tony D's humble, guys. Tony D's very humble. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. Shout out to Pennywise, says CandleMafia meetup. Tony D makes the pies. Shout out to Tony D making some of the best, probably the best pizza in the state of Georgia, for sure. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. Let's take a look at ADA, or ADA, as your fellow James Kramer might call it. And let's take a look at what we got going on. Is this our running chart? I don't think it is. Let's see. That's the Tether US. Okay, so here we are. Okay. So we lost our volume profile. Couldn't hold on the daily naked. Look at these dailies, though. This daily got tapped to the dollar. Money flow crossover into the red on the daily. I mean, that is just binarily bearish. So, yeah, keep that in mind. Let's see here. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Brandon McGill. Thank you for that super chat, bro. Say, can you check ABT for me? Yes, I can try to check ABT for you, brother. I do just want to front run anybody else. Super chats. I will try to take a look at this for you for sure, brother. But I just want to reiterate once. We do this once in a while. Super chats do not guarantee that we look at your coin. Some people think that, and then they get mad when we don't look at it. But we only have so much time. But shout out to Brandon. I will try my best to take a look at that. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much, bro. As we look here, right, we tap this daily naked point of control almost beautifully. We have another one just underneath, which would be the next key level of support in my own personal opinion. But with our money flow coming to the downside on the daily, this green dot, in my opinion, may be more likely to give you a lackluster bounce to the upside before putting in a lower high and getting a bigger move down. Now, let me actually pull up the Lux Algo. Yeah. So key levels I would look at if we do get a significant bounce back to the upside on Cardano. This is going to be a little bit more of the bearish case. You guys can see. Let me actually change the. Let me actually just change the. What do you call it? Transparency on this. Turn this up. Turn this up. Right. So you see our bearish Lux Algo Smart Trail coming through here. By the time we get a move up here, this is obviously going to change. This is going to move over time. But if we do wind up getting a bounce on Cardano up into this value area low, and our smart trail is coming right down in confluence with that value area low, this would make this a very, very enticing place for me to look for a short. Not you, but me. This is not financial advice, right? But, if we could pull some local fibs here, let me pull the local fib from here to here. Beautiful golden pocket, 786 confluence with this Lux Algo Smart Trail, guys. This could be a very, very saucy level, and we'll have to see if it plays out. But typically, when you have your Lux Algo Smart Trail popping up and being very confluent with your 786 golden pocket retracement, this is oftentimes where you will see a lower high, or on the flip side of the coin, when you come into the bullish smart trail, right? This is typically where you put in higher lows, right? So you put a higher low on the bullish smart trail, but on the other side of that, obviously, if you come back up into a bearish smart trail, this is where lower highs will come in. And then the money flow is also pointing to a continued downtrend, making this a very, very confluent area to look for some resistance. So this is definitely going to be a significant level of resistance that I would be looking at, right? And even if you're not looking at Lux Algo, the Golden Pocket 786 and value area low is saucy enough for me to be looking in that zone. This Lux Algo Smart Trail just adds that little bit of extra sauce. And you guys know Lux Algo is a sponsor of the channel, so go check them out. If you guys want access to any of their premium indicators, they have tons of different subscription options and a full 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're just learning TA, guys, and you're looking for things such as bullish and bearish divergences, they literally mark them out on the chart for you perfectly, right? They literally automatically show up here. So go check them out if you guys are interested. Link in the description down below. And there you go. You'll have access to not only this stuff. This is like 6% of what they offer. They have a million different other parts of their indicator suite. So definitely go check them out. And if you don't have the money to spend, check out the free Frankie Candles indicator for 100% free on TradingView. Search my name, add it to your chart, and use it right now. No strings attached. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue on here, guys. Loaded up on Doge. Shout out to HJM Construction. Let's go. Funny enough, I've never owned a significant amount of Doge, to be quite honest with you guys. I've owned Doge, I've traded Doge, but I never really was a big holder of Doge. Arguably, I should have been. But definitely going to be a key level of resistance I would look at on the way up, guys, right? Doesn't mean that we're guaranteed to reject there, but if we come into this zone, like I said, if that daily money flow, right? I mean, Lux Algo's money flow is coming out on the daily as well, but Market Cypher's money flow is also coming into the red here, right? So if that is going to anticipate, remember, money flow indicates a longer-term trend. If this comes into a bigger red wave, you would expect that downtrend to continue, making this a very high likelihood place to put a lower high in. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at on Cardano. And honestly, even to get back up here, I will say, I mean, you're pretty far away from this, right? But your next immediate level of resistance is going to be that daily naked point of control at 48 cents. So there you go. You flip that 48-cent level. That makes it much more likely you'll come up to the Golden Pocket value area low. And then this is kind of where I would be very, very cautious. If you don't have your money flow on the daily coming back up here, crossing into the green, probably going to be a high likelihood rejection. Not financial advice. So there you go. All right, let's go ahead and continue on here. Shout out to Wick589 says, better than moon pies are those little baby pies you can get from the bakery around your groceries. The pecan is, oh, you're right. Those little mini pies. Dude, I know exactly what you're talking about. The pecan one is the fire one. Yo. Shout out to Wick, bro. Shout out to Wick. You are 100% right. I could not agree with you more. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our next altcoin, which is going to be DOT, or as some people like to call it, Polka Dot. Let's go ahead and check it out, guys. And don't forget to smash that like button, guys. I really do not show enough love to the call to action to smash that like button. It is the easiest and most free way to share this information with other people and help us grow. So if you want to support our channel, it's the freest and easiest way. Just go ahead and tap that little like button, that thumbs up, and push us out to the rest of the YouTube verse and suck in as many CandleMafia members as we possibly can. 3, 2, 1, smash that like button. Let's run it up to 550. If we get 800 likes on tonight's stream, which is a very, very, is a little bit of a reach, but if we get 850 likes, I will give away $200 in XRP tonight. Shout out to Creighton C. Thank you for the super chat. Say, could you tell those of us that haven't eaten Tony's hot and spicy pie what his pie tastes like? How often do you eat it? Do you ever just, yo, where's Dave? Dave Digital, call the cops on Creighton C. Somebody call SWAT on Creighton C. Call the military. Get him out of here. I'm just kidding. Shout out to Creighton C. Obviously, we love you, bro. And I'll say, common misconception, Tony D's pies, his pizza pies, are not spicy at all. He doesn't even make pepperoni. He makes grandma pies. He makes regular pies. He makes, I forget what other kind of pie, but they're all the best pie you could possibly eat. Trust me, you'll be licking your plate. Anyway, let's continue on. Shout out to Creighton C. Unbelievable. Sometimes I walk right into these problems. But anyway, shout out to Creighton C. We love you, bro. But let's go ahead and continue on. Taking a look at Polkadot. And actually, this is very, okay, I love that we're looking at Polkadot, right? Because recently, guys, we've been looking at Polkadot. Yeah, we've been looking at Polkadot here as we were breaking out of our bear market range. And here's the thing, right? I'm gonna be fully transparent with you guys. I mean, I've already said this, so it's not like I wasn't transparent. But as you guys know, we broke out of our bear market range, and I was buying Polkadot. I think I've started buying Polkadot here, or I was buying, not the first time I bought Polkadot, but I was buying a little bit here, bought a little bit here. I'm not going to lie, I kind of thought I was sniping the bottom here, and then finally we broke out of the range, and I was like, oh, we did snipe the bottom, and we broke out of our range, and we were looking for a move potentially coming up to our value area low here. However, obviously, there is always a bearish case, and we got to break back down into the range. And right now, we are holding our POC. And to be quite honest with you guys, sometimes we do see price bounce off the POC and then get a bigger move to the upside. Like sometimes you'll break out of a range, and then price just wants to squeak back in, tap the POC one more time, and then you get the big move to the upside. This does happen very often. And this, I'm not saying this is guaranteed what's going to happen. I mean, to be honest with you, this money flow on the daily is crossing over into the red. I would be cautious for a move back down to the value area low just based off this money flow, right? But, with that being said, I am comfortable. I'll be honest with you, right? I'm buying Polkadot, right? I bought DOT on the last dip, right, on Saturday. We got that push to the downside. I bought a little DOT. I bought a little bit of a bunch of stuff, right? Bought a little DOT. I'm not saying go buy this stuff, but I bought a little bit of DOT. I bought a little bit of Chain Swap. I bought a little bit of I bought some Manta. I bought a bunch. There was a bunch of stuff that I bought. But Polkadot was on that list, right? And I will be honest with you, right? If you are a long-term holder of Polkadot, in my opinion, that's what I am, right? I have traded DOT, leverage traded. But typically I hold DOT long-term. I'm buying. I was buying here, right? I was buying here. I was not buying here. I guess I bought somewhere on this move down. I would buy here if I didn't already buy. If we get a move to the value area low, I will simply buy more. Right? I do have dry powder, and I will buy more, right? So it's not like, oh, my God. Like, I want people to understand this, right? I didn't buy here, right? And then it moved down, and I'm like, oh, man. Like, even if I bought here, which I didn't, but if I did, and then we got to move down, like, Polkadot's one of those projects that, this is a blue-chip project. This is something that I'm going to buy on the dips, right? I'm looking to hold this long-term. So simply put, this is a buy for me on Polkadot. It doesn't mean we can't go lower, right? Like some people will be like, you said this was a buy, right? I'm talking about for me, not for you guys. But for me, this is a buy. And then people will be like, oh, you said it was a buy and then it dumped. And I'm like, yeah, like that's fine. Like I'm just going to buy more, right? With something like this, that's what I would do, right? Now, this money flow does not look good. To be honest with you, like this money flow alone would indicate that it is very likely, even if we get a pump up to this value area high, that we could very likely come to the value area low. But remember, this is under the assumption that we don't fake out. And remember, I'm just going to start saying this to simplify it. We are in a high likelihood money flow fake out scenario, right? So we have to be very vigilant for these fake outs on money flow. But if this is going to play out as they typically do, this is very likely to bring you down to that value area low. Again, which I would be buying more Polkadot on, right? Heck, I'm not saying we're going to make lower lows on the altcoins, but if we did somehow or for some reason break these lows, like I'm buying that for sure, right? Especially now with the spot Bitcoin ETF approved, with the just the legitimacy that this whole asset class has seen over the past year is insane, right? Like a lot of people are like, man, like I get text messages from people all the time, and they're like, oh man, like even on this past little dump, people are like, oh my God, Bitcoin dumped. Like, should I be selling everything? I can't. It's really funny. Like my phone, Bitcoin dumps, and my phone is like, I wake up and I look at my phone, and I'm like, oh my God, I have so many friends, and then it's just everybody. It's just like, dude, what do I do? Oh my God, Bitcoin's dumping, and I'm like, oh man, they're just using me. I'm just kidding. I don't think they're using me, or they're definitely not using me. But I like to help out my friends and family. But it's people are like, oh my God, should I sell? Should I sell? Should I sell? And I'm like, zoom out. Like, this is not dumped to zero. And if it did, like, this asset class has been as legitimized as it possibly could be, at least up until this point. Like, BlackRock would not be buying up Bitcoin. These giant asset managers would not be buying up Bitcoin if they thought it was going to zero. In my opinion, right? I don't know that, but, like, that's in my opinion. Like, why would someone like BlackRock, like, typically, they FUD this stuff while they're buying, right? And now they're just openly buying, which is very bullish in my opinion, right? So anyway, keep that in mind. Don't forget Hong Kong approved BTC and ETH ETF. Like this, I get more scared of the bullish scenario than the bearish scenario at this point, right? Like when you have the realization that things are like you have these giant asset managers buying Bitcoin, the spot ETFs are approved. This is like scary. This might be the last chance we have to buy Bitcoin. Like chances are it's like the last time we ever had to buy Bitcoin down here, maybe not down here, who knows? But like I do genuinely feel that we are getting to the point where Bitcoin is, you're not gonna be able to get this for very cheap much longer, right? Like people think, $60K is expensive. Wait 4 years, 5 years, even 10 years. Like 60K is going to feel like free Bitcoin, in my opinion, right? Assuming the world doesn't go to zero. Anyway, let's continue on here. Take a look at ABT real quick for our boy. ABT, here we go. Let's take a quick look at this. Bada boom. Who asked for this? Brandon? I think it was Brandon that asked for this. I think we might have looked at this last time for Brandon as well. But here we are. I mean, simply put, we got the move up, pulled our fib from the low to the high, starting with this impulse to the high. Get rid of this little profile. And we had this long, not long zone, but this support zone between the golden pocket and the 786 Fibonacci retracement level, right? Arguably, we could have even just looked at the golden pocket value area high. But at this point, I will say, let's see, 4 hour, money flow's coming out, right? So in my opinion, money flow would be pointing towards a potential continued downtrend. You do have a 4 hour bullish divergence, potentially looking to print with our slightly lower low on price action, slightly higher low on your momentum waves, and then a little bing bong to the upside potentially. But based just looking at our money flow, you would anticipate a lackluster bounce before putting in a lower high and getting a bigger move to the downside, which simply put, if you do get a bigger move down, I would definitely be keeping an eye. Obviously, the 786 Fibonacci retracement level might be a good area to watch, but if this money flow is going to play out, very likely, and to be honest with you, I would probably only be interested in taking a long if I were looking to trade this, which I don't, but not for any particular reason. I mean, I could just only trade so many coins, right? Typically, we're trading mostly Bitcoin, at least in the premium Discord. It's like 90% Bitcoin setups. And then once in a while, when we have some altcoin setups, I'll throw the alt TA in there. But, for me, if I were looking at this, I'd probably, with this money flow, be sitting on my hands. I'd let this play out. If it comes back down to the bottom of this range, this is where I'd be looking for longs, even on a deviation, for a reclaim, a move back up to the high, and a potential breakout. But right here, like if we do not bounce off this value area high, in my opinion, it's, I don't typically long value area highs. If I'm looking for a long, I'm looking for a long down here. I'm looking for a long down here. I'm looking for a long down here. And I'm looking for shorts here to go to the value area low. I'm looking for shorts here. This one would have gotten stopped out. But, this is just typically not where I take longs from, unless it's a very specific scenario. So, for me, I would much rather wait for price to come back down to 150, 158 to 150 in this zone where you have a daily naked point of control and a value area low. So there you go. That's what I'll be looking at. There you go. That would be the range for context. Shout out to, I believe it was Brandon. Shout out to Brandon. Okay, let's go ahead and continue on. Sometimes I just glance. Yeah, shout out to Golden. Said Frankie slips on golden waterfalls and chat falls apart. Sometimes I look at chat and I'm like, oh, God, what are they talking about in there? Sometimes I worry that the FBI might be watching chat. Guys, please don't send the FBI after us. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue on. I have no idea what is going on. But let's go ahead and move on to VeChain. Let's check out VeChain. Bada boom, bada bing. Come on, come on. Here we are. Take a look at. Okay. Well, this did indeed wind up. It did wind up being resistance, that's for sure. Let's see here. Let's pull this full profile. I'm going to clear this. Actually, let's pull up a different. Believe we have a running chart for VeChain. Maybe we'll just make a fresh one. Let's make a fresh chart for VeChain. Here we go. All right, so let's take a look here. Where do we have the most price history? Probably Coinbase? No. Bear with me here, guys. I guess Binance. Okay, so let's take a look here. Well, hey, we have a nice little area of consolidation, so what do we do with this, guys? We simply will pull a range, right? Now we at least have an idea. Like, okay, there's the high, there's the low, here's the deviations, right? So I know I'm looking for shorts here. I'm looking for shorts here. I'm looking for shorts here. Looking for shorts here. Longs here. Longs here. Longs here. Right? So technically, based off the volume profile, I mean, guys, money flow. Great question, Creighton. Great question. What's the difference between Grandma and Sicilian? They are very different. Tony D. Shout out to Brandon McGill. That was who we looked at ABT for. Shout out to Brandon. I appreciate you, bro. No worries. I'm happy to do it. Tony, what is the difference between Grandma and Sicilian? There are differences. I was asking the same question, at some point in my life. Shout out to Creighton. I'm sure Tony D, our pizza expert, can answer that for you. Shout out to Tony D. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue on. But yeah, this would be the range I'd be looking at, and I'll be honest with you guys. Right off the bat, money flow does not look good on these, right? On the daily, right? And daily money flow coming out. But again, we understand that we're in a high likelihood, right? Even if you look at something like VeChain, you go from the red into the green, right, for money flow. And I'm not going to take it all. I'm not going to take everything off but the money flow again. But I should make a preset where we could just look at money flow. But you're in the red, you're in the green. You're in the red, you're in the green, right? And these are, at least from here, here, and here, like these are generally even, right? And then you're in the green, but you start faking out into the red, right? Obviously, this was 2020. I didn't even know that for a fact. I just tell by the move. But money flow comes into the green, but look at that. Like, we just never really went back into the red. We just stayed in the green. And then you got a little slip into the red, and then back into a massive green wave, and then a little slip into the red, and then we went into the bear market where we wound up spending much more time in the red. So, again, we might be in a scenario very similar to this situation, right, where we're kind of like bing-bonging around, not really fully crossing over into the red. It's very hard to call right now. But just binarily, if we're just looking at market cipher here, this money flow is bearish. But if this VWAP comes up, right, remember, the green dots indicate the small moves, the ebbs and the flows, the noise in the market, right? And then the money flow crossovers indicate the longer-term trend. So this would likely, right, based off money flow, if we do get a push back to the upside, I would probably more anticipate, well, we've already tested the golden pocket at almost a 786. Interesting. Yeah, I think if you do get a move up here on VeChain, I'll be honest with you. I would say, and I'll be honest, like this div is not the strongest. It's the same thing for Bitcoin, right? Like the long on I'm in on Bitcoin is like not high probability in my opinion. Yo, what is up with these shadows here? We're going to have to black out that window. But anyway, this is, we could bounce, right? You're deviated below your range. You have the bullish divergence. You could eventually get a move to your value area low, back to your POC, back to the high. So that would just be the trajectory I'd be looking at, but I would definitely be very cautious of potential lower highs coming in, right? Because of the way money flow looks. That downtrend may be likely to start. Hopefully not, right? I hope the alts rip again. But based off money flow, like that daily money flow would be indicating a bigger move down. So if we do get a move up, you got to be careful around this zone right here, sitting between about 0.04552 and 0.04383. These are going to be very likely levels to potentially come up, bing bong around, and then get a bigger move down to lower prices. That's kind of what I'd be looking at. Key resistance going to be that POC 786 golden pocket, and then once you get above that 786, in my opinion, I'd just be looking up towards that value area high, right? Which is another place where you could look for a deviation, potential short entry, and then a move back down. But money flow, in my opinion, does point more towards something like that. So keep that in mind. So that's what I'm looking at on VeChain. Let's take a look at Caspa. Take a quick look here. Shout out to Tony D. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Said grandma is thin crust, lots of garlic and olive oil. Was invented by Umberto's in New Hyde Park. Shout out to New Hyde Park. My grandparents and my dad's from there. Largely popular on the island. Crushed plum tomato sauce. Easily one of the most delicious varieties. Shout out to Tony D. I'm not joking. Tony D is an actual pizza expert. I mean, we're both pizza experts, but Tony's the chef. Tony cooks. I don't cook. I worked at pizza places, obviously, growing up in New York and stuff. I guess those pizza places didn't really serve as much pizza as they did other stuff. But anyway, shout out to Tony D. Like, he is spot on with that pizza. Absolutely spot on. But anyway, let's continue on. One of the most delicious varieties. Absolutely. But anyway, let's take a look at Caspa. And here we are. We have not looked at Caspa in quite some time. I'm going to get rid of this fib because it is dated. But one thing is for sure, guys. We may have not looked at Caspa in a long time, but one thing is for sure. We had our volume profile here. And another thing that is for sure is those levels have been respected, even when we're not looking, right? Absolutely incredible. Now, this level did move just a little bit. Actually, hang on. We can extend this, so these levels will move a little bit. But simply put, guys, like, I don't remember the last time we looked at Caspa. We got a breakout. We were looking for resistance on this purple box. I believe this was a golden pocket 786 retracement. Got the resistance we were looking for. And then, at that point, right, you're saying, hey, what are we likely to do if we get a hard rejection? Well, first off, you're going to look at support on the value area high, right? If you break down below your value area high, you're going to look for a move to your POC. You break below your POC, that's where you look for the move to the value area low. And what happened? You get stuck under your value area high, right to your POC, you slip it, but you get a move back up to the high. You can also look for shorts back at the high, go back to the POC, back to the high. You can look for shorts here again, back to the POC. You finally lose the POC and go right to the low. So simply put, I mean, if I were looking to trade Caspa at the time, I would have looked for a long down here and would have rode up to the POC and got rejected. But simply put, guys, I'm not going to go super in-depth here. These levels are definitely still valid, in my opinion. I am going to have to adjust just slightly because these levels move over time, obviously, as they are derived from volume. So as volume is traded at other prices or different prices at different times, that develops a different volume profile, which makes those levels move over time. But for the most part, it remains about the same, right? We have now been deviated from the range, accepted back in, and we are now within this range. So your key levels of support are going to be 10 cents, right? 0.105975, right? This is your key level of support, key level of resistance above. POC sitting at 12 cents or 0.1283, and then your value area high sitting up here at almost 14.5 cents. So simply put, we hold above the value area low. Even if we put in a nice little bullish confirmation, some divergences at the low, you could look for a bounce back to the POC. But simply put, I would look to respect these levels, right? Back to the high. If you get bearish confirmations up here, look to go back to the POC, and we may be able to range around here for just a little bit. Now, I will say this, 4-hour money flow crossing into the red. Take a look at the daily money flow is now in the red as well. So, yeah, I mean, I would look to respect this range. But as far as money flow on the higher time frames, I mean, to be quite honest with you, it actually doesn't look, it's very choppy. It doesn't look as bad as Bitcoin, to be honest. But yeah, 8-hour went into the green, back into the red. It's a little bit chopped up there. So when we're seeing a situation like that where price is choppy, money flow is choppy, there's no clear direction. Simply put, we focus our attention on the value areas or the key levels. So we come down to the low. That's where I'm assessing the lower time frames to see if we can get bullish confirmations to scalp long. And then we come up to the high. We'll be looking for the opposite. But other than that, money flow just doesn't look good on the higher time frames, honestly. I mean, this does not look bad, right? This doesn't look as bad as Bitcoin, right? If we come to Bitcoin on the 16-hour, money flow just crossed over into the red. At least here, we've been in the red and we're potentially coming back up. So, yeah, and again, if you're paying attention to the key levels in the volume profile, chances are, if you come back down here, you'll look for a long, and then you might be able to get a move back to the high. So I would just definitely be playing this range. But right now, you're kind of just floating in the middle of your range. So this is a no-trade zone for me. I'd be looking for a trade if we came back down here for a long to go back up, or if we get a move back up, I would be waiting for to look for a short from up here back to the downside. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at on Caspa. So there you go, guys. But let's see. Okay, I'll be good. I'm pulling my fib right now. Okay. I don't. V-shaped recovery. All right. That was the last one. Shout out to Creighton C. Creighton C can't hold back today, but it's okay, Creighton C. We're just happy you're in here, bro. Shout out to Creighton. But guys, with all that being said, I think that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I appreciate every single one of you guys for hanging out till the end. I truly do appreciate that. I don't just say that because I'm on camera and I think I should say it. I say it because I genuinely love coming up here and doing this every single day. I legitimately feel blessed to be able to do this, and we always have a good time in the chat, even when Creighton C and the Mafia are going absolutely ballistic in the chat. So, guys, with all that being said, we'll see you same place right here, same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, go outside. It's a beautiful day here, at least in the ATL. Go outside. Set your stop losses. If you're not an experienced trader, please be careful out there right now. It is hard trading conditions, but hopefully I was able to clear things up for you guys at least a little bit or as much as possible here on the live stream. Now, if you haven't had Grandma Pizza, guys, this is your call to action. Get out there. Well, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel first. Second, go out to your local pizza place. If you're in New York especially, go try a Grandma Slice. They're absolutely fire. And if you don't have pizza places near you, Grandma Tony's Pizza is about to be on the merch store, guys. I'm just kidding, but one day we will do that. But with all that being said, shout out to the Candle Mafia. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you right here, same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. What did I say? Same place, same time, Eastern Standard Time, 5:45. I don't know what we're doing, guys. I got to meet up with my family. I think if that's still on. Oh yeah, Mrs. Candles, I think, is trying to coordinate. But with all that being said, I'll see you guys tomorrow. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. This is the worst outro I've ever done. Bing bong!
Coach, what's next for me, Joe? I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the f is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Space shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, thought they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threat, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Who reached out to you? 6 people DM'd you, and now you feel pressure. Listen, dude, you can sing, bro. Stop. They were right. They've never heard you sing. They said you sound like Celine Dion, bro. You low-key do. It's not an insult. It's good, bro. You're a good singer. I'm gonna get you on the. You do it on the stream. Don't be nervous, bro. Trust me. No, you do sound like Celine Dion. I'm not insulting you. Like, that's a good thing, bro. Celine Dion's like my favorite singer. Don't tell anybody that. But yeah, she is. Now, you don't have to do it this week, but just practice up. We'll do it in the next month. Okay, fine. All right. Hello? Pissed. Anyway. Oh, boy. Oh, God. Shout out to Tony D. Shout out to Tony D. Bitfrog said Celine Dion. Yeah, it was from earlier in the stream. Somebody said Tony D's got vocal cords and he could sing like Celine Dion. Now he says people are DMing him saying that they want to hear his voice. So stick around, guys. At some point, we're going to have Tony D on the stream, and he's going to absolutely belt out those golden bagpipes that indeed do sound like Celine Dion. Shout out to Tony D. That's all the time I got, guys. Pray for Bitcoin. Hasta pasta. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go. time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on the road, hey. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out.